Today's show is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo. Apply today to become a member and immediately be connected with the advertisers that fit your audience. That's Podgo at podgo.co. Podgo, that's where the pods go.
Hello and welcome to the Infectious Groove Podcast, part of the Odd Pods Media Network. Recorded at the 33 1/3 Music Appreciation Center in Speakeasy, located just outside of Detroit, Michigan. The Infectious Groove Podcast is your source for jammy jams, music news, and the best in-depth music discussion. Thanks for joining us. Now here are your hosts.
Hello and welcome. It is Michelle and Russ and Kyle. Yay.
I told you he was still alive.
Okay, I don't know if you listened to last week's episode, Kyle, but I made mention several times that I was going by what I was told. I was told that you were sick, and I hadn't communicated with you directly. Now, I can back that up now by saying what you're hearing is not a recording of Kyle. He's sitting right here.
I'm back.
He's back. And
my microchip was wigging out or something.
Yeah, you had bad 5G.
It was not, yeah.
Experience.
I have full 5G now, though. So
oh, that's rad. Yeah.
Go.
Well, we record down in the basement, so you're getting full signal now. That's rad. So this week, now back with the three of us, and we'll get to a point where I don't need you to do like a full-scale review, but we do have people asking what you thought of the Prince record, so we'll get to that in a little bit. The main topic for this episode is going to be a movie that Michelle loves and a movie that I just think is there.
And Kyle likes it.
And everyone likes this movie but me. I don't hate.
Add it to Super Troopers and
Super Troopers is awful and Super Bad is just okay.
Get out!
So
Go.
You're in my house. So
my house now.
We will be talking about Empire Records, and I'm sure at some point Rex Manning Day because of that. So we'll get to that in a little bit. As always, we talk about the YouTube channel. We had a video go up this past week with, according to some people, can't believe it, but it's my son, Zach. Michelle's mom thought it was just some guy.
Well, yeah, but when he lived with us, he was what, 4?
Yeah, but time passed since then.
What?
Yeah, so what happened was he grew older.
That's what happened?
Yeah. Oh. So if you do the math on this, he was 4 when he lived with you, and it's been 11 years since I lived there.
He was 3 and now he's 4? He's 4 years old?
Yeah, and now he's 15. So I promise you all the math checks out. So anyways, what I did in that video was just ask him to talk about like music in general, like why we see so many kids wearing shirts for old bands and stuff, and then I had him pull 5 records he likes, and it was a lot of fun. So that was fun. So to be clear, my son has appeared on the YouTube channel before Michelle has appeared on the YouTube channel.
Accurate.
And he said 5 nice things without even being asked to say 5 nice things. So he didn't even have to have that. Yeah, I know. I know. So I'm going to get right through all that stuff because we have a lot of feedback to get to. And this week's feedback is brought to you by Pew Pew Lasercraft. They make some amazing music-oriented stuff and just general crafting stuff. And it's really, really cool. We've posted on Instagram a bunch of times that like 7-inch label that they make.
Yeah. That
we have down here and everything. So,
and if you look hard enough, you can find it in the video.
Oh yeah, you can actually. Yep, it's I think it's right over my son's shoulder. I say my son because I promise you it's my son in the video.
Sure.
But they make that and a whole bunch of other stuff. And if you go to their Etsy store, Pew Pew Lasercraft on Etsy, and you use the code GROOVE, you can get a discount on anything in their site, not just music related. So they are bringing you this week's feedback, and let's get into it.
Feedback, Joe.
Don't worry about that. Right. There's rock and roll be without feedback.
I'm actually going to do this in reverse order. I was going to do the texts and tweets and everything, but I'm going to do the voicemails
on the
first.
fly. You're changing lineup.
Can you even believe how fantastical I am at this?
I can't.
All right, here comes the first voicemail we got.
This is Gabe with a podcast called Fugues. I loved your episode on the analysis of Around the World in a Day. I found both of what you said valid, actually, and as an insane Prince aficionado, I have a lot of opinions myself, but I was right in between the two of you. So a song like Tambourine, I actually happen to absolutely love. I think it's this bizarre James Brown thing where Prince also apparently was obsessed with finger castanets in this album, and he kind of uses it everywhere. And I think it's hysterical. It's like Prince mixed with James Brown. I think he's just wearing some influences on his sleeve. I think it's brilliant. I keep it on every time. But I also agree that with Michelle, that I don't love The Ladder or Temptation or Condition of the Heart, I'm afraid to say, because I think he was tinkering with some production value stuff that wasn't always in my wheelhouse. It sounds like no one can deny Paisley Park, no one can deny Raspberry Beret or Pop Life. Those are three absolutely extraordinary songs. I also love Around the World in a Day. I don't think any music sounds like that has ever existed before or after. So for me, you guys are saying this really interesting sort of analysis on, what preceded it. He made this album right after Purple Rain, one of the biggest albums of all time. So I think of it like Radiohead. Like they made Paranoid Android, they made Kid A, and then, two of the biggest records ever. And then they made Amnesiac. Amnesiac was like pretty quick after Kid A. Just some amazing songs on it. But I don't disparage it. I think it's a brilliant album still, even though I think there's some clunkers, like songs that I wouldn't go back to. Like for America, I don't really listen to America. When I was a kid, I loved it. But I don't really feel it the way I do now as I did then. That said, I would never give it a 5, though I understand the mentality. But as a Prince fan, I still give it at least an 8 because those songs are so incredible. You can't make Purple Rain every time. But then again, he went and made Parade, and for me, Parade is a 10. There are no songs I don't like on Parade. It is brilliant top to bottom. You come off a Purple Rain, yeah, you're going to have some ones that you kind of throw in that you write and whatever. Because I think there are songs like, and you mentioned this, The Ladder, it does sort of sound like his sort of gospel approach to what he was doing with Purple Rain, kind of recycled. I just miss Purple Rain when I hear The Ladder. But overall, I still give it an 8 because of the absolute majesty of Paisley Park, Raspberry Beret, Pop Life, and Around the World in a Day. And I still love Tambourine. I still listen to it.
So you notice how the voicemail cuts off there? It's because we've had our first person call in and find out what the voicemail limit is. And that was Gabe. And all great points, but I found out that there's a 2-minute and 59-second limit on our voicemails that we can get, like each individual voicemail. So if you have more thoughts than 3 minutes, you can call back and leave more. So what's funny is, though, I don't even know, it must not have, I don't know if it let him know. There's just a lot more to that we didn't know. But I like how when he's agreeing with you, you're sitting over there shaking, like, you're damn right, like shaking your head. And then as soon as he says anything you don't like, you're just like, well, that's not right.
That's how this works.
Is that how this works, Kyle?
Unfortunately, it is.
Right. All right. Well, we have another voicemail. This one's significantly shorter, but still some great points as well.
Hey, everyone. This is Seth giving you a call back from the Thanks for Coming podcast. I just had a quick suggestion for you for that Kings of Leon album. Maybe you can leave it in the wall when you move out so that it'll haunt the next owners of the house. As far as the album review, I have to say that I never had a very close connection with Prince, although I do recognize his supreme intelligence and musical abilities. I am one of those people that knows the hits and that's about it, but that halftime performance really changed my life, and 1999 was my favorite song of his, and that's kind of when I first kind of found out about Prince, or really took the time to look into his music. So that album is the album for me. But yeah, this one has some good ones. Raspberry Beret, of course, classic. So really enjoyed your album. I hope Kyle's not dead, and I can't look forward. I really look forward to listening to your podcast next week. Have a good one, y'all.
Kyle, will you confirm one more time?
I am not dead.
Okay. I'm so glad we had him record that phrase.
Isn't that isn't the puppeting
You're so
really
fast.
great? Yeah.
You're so fast. Yeah. That's great. But I like that you have someone that wasn't even a big Prince fan and still found stuff that they liked on the record, which I thought was cool. As far as Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and everything, I gathered a couple of things off of there. Garrett from the Ever Trending Story podcast left us a voicemail last week with some ideas on how that technology, the AI technology, could be used positively, and responded on Twitter in quotes, "Those are ideas." Thanks a lot, Michelle.
They are some ideas.
I was I played the voicemails and we discussed it, and I was like, we asked for ideas, and Michelle was like, "Those are ideas." So it was fantastic. We had Mike from the Link podcast, who also left us voicemail last week, said, my voicemail got Michelle to admit on air that there might be some AI bangers in the future. My work here is done. Another great episode from one of my favorite podcasts, which I thought was great. This here is kind of off topic, but I showed this to you guys the other day. We charted on the iTunes
Yeah,
US chart at 124.
How many?
Well, there's like 100,000 music podcasts. So, like,
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I will take 124 out of 100,000.
Let's break that 100
So,
mark.
holy cow.
there's a shitload of podcasts in general. So yeah,
You'll know if we break the 100 mark because I'm coming to your house with fireworks.
You don't even like fireworks.
I know, and I'm going to wait till like 6 in the morning when I know for sure you're not awake, and then I'm going to let them off.
Aw, thanks.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. The Treble podcast replied to us and said, I just listened to Prince and the Revolution album Around the World in a Day, and now I'm pregnant. Take that, Michelle. And then it says it was just recommending it that all of their listeners go and take a listen to our latest episode, which I thought was cool. Jamie Porter gave us some feedback on the episode and said, great episode today. Too bad Kyle was, in quotes, sick. I was actually more curious of his opinion of the album. I could kind of predict what Russ was going to say and Michelle's reactions, but Kyle was the wild card for me. My personal opinion is it's somewhere between Russ and Michelle. I like the album, but in my opinion, Prince goes a little too far for me on this one. So, having said that, without extending this to all of last week's episode, what were your overall thoughts of the record, Kyle?
I do agree with what he says. I put it at like a 6.5, because it's too, for me, it goes too far in a different direction than what I'd like to hear from Prince.
Sure. And we didn't touch on this last week, but we did touch on the fact that I think on purpose he was like, "This is not going to be Purple Rain."
He absolutely did it on purpose. But
I think he went like way too far with the
point.
And
I totally agree with why he did it and what he was doing. But for me, it ventures too far into a direction that I am not a huge fan of.
Right? No, but the whole point that I was making to Michelle was like, if nothing else, I respect the hell out of the creativity. Like the fact that like no one on earth would put those songs on a record, and Prince was like, oh, not only am I gonna, but it's gonna follow Purple Rain, was just amazing to me. So having said that, that is the feedback we have for this week. You can get at us on Facebook, you can get at us on Instagram, Twitter, you can text Michelle personally at 313 I should do one of these weeks. I'm just gonna. What I should do is when the baby gets here, I should give out your personal number so people can keep in contact with you. Mm-hmm. But the best way to get a hold of Michelle, Kyle, or myself is to leave us a voicemail at 313-364-9899, and you can text that as well. But the voicemails are a lot more fun for me. And 3-minute limit, so set a timer before you start sharing all of your feedback. So, all right, let's move on. Our jammies. I don't have a whole lot of Jamie Jams to share for this week. For obvious reasons, this past week was the 5-year anniversary of Prince leaving us. So I really listened to I know you're going to have a joke lined up. I know I listen to a lot of Prince as it is, but I listen to a lot more Prince this week.
Is that even possible?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because there's a lot of stuff that when it came out from after the Gold Experience, probably after Raven to the Joy Fantastic. So more from 2000 to 2012, there's a lot of stuff that when it came out, I listened to it once when it came out and didn't really dig into it because he just released so much that I would get, for example, when Raven to the Joy Fantastic came out in I think 99, I was banging that record for 5 years, and he put out 3 more in the time, and I was like, okay, but I'm still listening to this one. You know what I mean? So a lot of times I'll go back and listen to Lotus Flower, Planet Earth, News, stuff like that came out that I'm not that familiar with, and in many ways it's new Prince material for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just because it's stuff that I haven't.
Are there singles off those records?
There were singles off almost every one of them, but a lot of that stuff, musicology around 2004 or so broke into the mainstream pretty well. That was pretty big, but a lot of the stuff that he released was at the time he was doing so many different innovations with how to release records. There was one album that came out, I forget which one, but there was one that came out here in the US and you could only get it at Target, and it was $1 with any other purchase. Because he was being innovative. He was finding new ways, because Prince already saw that people were buying less and less music. So he was and then there was another album that came for free with the Sunday paper in the UK. He just set up a distribution deal and was like, here's your paper and your Prince album.
What?
But just to get the music into people's hands.
That's the precursor to releasing merch, and if you buy the t-shirt, then you get the album with it as well.
Yep.
It's Prince
was
onto something before anybody else was.
Yeah. And there were a lot of mistakes made. I'm sure someday we'll do a Prince specific episode, but in the back half of the 90s, there were times where people were ordering records directly from the New Power Generation Music Club or the MBG Music Club, and it was 6 and 7 months later, and they still didn't have their records and stuff. And it was already out in stores. There were a lot of mistakes made, but he was also the first through the wall. Like he was the only one doing anything like that. And here now today, you can order stuff directly from a band's website, and 7 months later, still be like, "Where is this?" So it's not like it's unheard of. So, anyways, I'll just pick a bunch of Prince songs for the playlist, maybe stuff that a lot of people haven't heard, or that I know you'll like. Because holy cow, not Tambourine.
Please, not Tambourine.
Right. So really just really light week for me. Like I know Kaleo put out a new record and I didn't get to listen to any of it yet. So, that wasn't, in my, I've still listened to the last Parker Millsap record and whatnot. So pretty light week for me. What are your jammy jams, Kyle?
I have less than normal because half the week my microchip was malfunctioning. So once I got a firmware update, and now I'm back to normal.
You're good now.
All I have is something that I'm probably going to share with Michelle, which is she's sighing right now because I'm going to talk about it first. But is the new Kaleo record?
No, she gets so. Why you don't want other
she's
people
so possessive
listening
over
to,
music?
I know. I don't get it. I guess just don't talk about it that much. Well, also, you know what? And I can't believe I'm going to say these words, but I'm going to defend Michelle on this. You always have a great diverse amount of stuff that you listen to.
Yes.
Michelle has like one song every week that she listens to.
You're ruining it.
The only reason I'm mentioning this is because since it's come out on Friday, this is all I've listened to.
Nice.
Probably 6 times straight through on Friday,
Nice.
and then in the car yesterday.
Right
and
on. Now, you like their previous stuff,
Yeah.
right? But you like this even more?
This it's very much like their other stuff,
Okay.
and that which is what I liked from them.
Right on.
But I'm going to say 10 out of 10 fire emojis.
Oh, damn.
It's fucking
There's
good.
0 stinkers.
I
Yeah,
believe I have plans to go pick up the record later today. So there's a place about 10 minutes from here called the Record Store.
That's what it's called?
Yeah. So I'm planning on going there. Well, they put it under this weird name so you don't know what they sell. It's called Dearborn Music.
They sell instruments?
Yes, as a matter of
I knew
fact. But anyways, so let me ask you this, though. Worth the wait? Because it's been delayed a couple of times.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 100% worth the wait, and I can see listening to it why they would have waited until they could tour with it, because I can just envision hearing this shit live, and oh my god, man, it's.
I like that when you hear a record and you're like, and I know we talk about him a lot, but other arrangements by Parker Millsap.
Yeah.
As soon as I dropped the needle on that, I was like, I've got to see this guy play these songs live. And there's a lot of bands that I don't feel that way about. I'm like, boy, I bet this song would suck live.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
but yeah, it's excellent.
Sweet. And what is the name of the record?
Surface Sounds.
Surface Sounds?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, it's probably a reference to vinyl. Yeah. Well, yeah, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. And so was that it for you?
Yeah, that's literally what I've been listening to straight
Right
through over and over and over again since I seen that it had come out.
And tomorrow, for once, Michelle will want to hear 10 seconds of every song while you decide which ones you want to put on the playlist. She'll be like, let this whole song play.
Yeah.
And Michelle, hopefully you have a wildly different jammy jam than Kyle, because he just was talking about the new Kaleo record, which I don't even know.
And then you mentioned first, and then he mentioned it, and now I'm just old news.
I don't even know. Have you even heard about Kaleo?
I've heard of Kaleo.
Bro, do you even Kaleo? Yeah, you've heard of Kaleo. And so, Michelle, what are your jammy jams?
Ditto.
Fantastic.
What he said.
Same thing. Repeating the record. Worth the wait.
Yeah.
Worth the wait.
Yeah, no stinkers. 10 out of 10.
And so what?
It's their best album yet, I think.
You pre-ordered that a year ago.
A year ago, and it's still not arriving until
still
next
has not
week.
come yet, but oh my god.
I got a signed copy. So.
Nice. I wish they would give you an option for vinyl or CD, because then I wouldn't have to go buy the CD or the vinyl.
It was CD or digital download, and so I figured I would much rather hold it. And so that just means that we all get
with
the CD.
how much you go to the record store, I know that physical media matters to you a great deal.
And then as soon as for anyone who doesn't, we have tickets to see Kaleo next year in April.
Yeah.
And Ticketmaster was like, you get a CD with or digital download with your purchase. And then I was like, of course, CD. So I hit it and submitted it. And then I was like, wait, I don't have a CD player in my car anymore.
Yeah, I know.
I don't even know how to listen to this.
I'm pretty sure somewhere I still have a copy of the Mumford & Sons Delta from the last time that happened.
So yeah.
But yeah, so you just ripped off Kyle with your Jammy Jams.
So unlike the stinker that the Kings of Leon album was, this one is fantastic.
Yes.
We actually, when we were playing records last night, the subject of the Kings of Leon record came up, and it was like you'd heard your friend went to jail or something. Like everybody in the room was like, like everybody was just like, man,
it really sucks when you're like anticipating how great something's going to be, and it's just like, man.
They hadn't had a record come out since like 2017, 2018, so it's been a minute, and I thought they would do better than that.
It's such a bummer.
Yes,
it's such a bummer. By the way, for as much as we complain about the Kings of Leon on this program, we do try and keep things positive. For me personally, Come Around Sundown and Mechanical Bull, those two records, like if you're listening to the show and you're like, yeah, I'm not a big Kings of Leon guy, plus they're always insulting him, like those two records are fire.
Walls,
yeah,
too.
It probably sounds like I hate Kings of Leon, but I actually like them a lot.
I get disappointed because you want them to be better than they are.
Yes, it's just the newest album.
We're not mad. We're just disappointed.
Yes.
Okay, Mom. You getting ready for when the baby comes?
I am.
All right. Well, here we go. This is either going to be good or bad. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and talk about the movie Empire Records. Not just the movie, but the promotion and some things I learned about it this week. Should be fun. You're listening to the Infectious Groove podcast on the Odd Pods Media Network. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm Richie.
And I'm Little Matt.
And here at the 500 Section Lounge, we have a few requirements. First, you've got to be able to talk about anything at all. Secondly, you need to be able to laugh, play games, and talk to some very interesting people.
From sports radio personalities to reality television contest finalists and everything in between, we talk to them all.
Yeah, it's all right here in the lounge. So be on the lookout for what we do next.
And always be there to
grab a listen.
Ich bin ein
Science!
Cannabinoids, genetics, coronavirus, dogs. This is Petri Dish.
Science!
We're a science podcast exploring complex subjects with clarity and evil humor. Join the scientific revolution. Join Petri Dish, dropping every Monday on anchor.fm/Petri Dish.
Hey there, we're BFYTW Podcast. I'm Pantsless Aaron, I'm the host, and we are three silly people playing very silly games for fakey points that don't count for anything. Our permanent team captains are a veteran and a podcaster, and a veteran podcaster, it's Stevie.
Hey guys, it's Midnight Smoke here. I love being funny, goofy, and I'm here for your entertainment.
And his permanent opponent, my oldest friend and a gamer and a storyteller, it's Jorge.
Hey guys, Jorge here, HH_Empire, and I am the logical voice to this Maelstrom of Chaos sometimes.
Well, if you like silly people playing silly games, then you want to come hang out with us at BFYTW Podcast every week. That's BFYTWpodcast.com.
And we're back, taking you into the second half of the Infectious Groove podcast. This week, talking about, I'm not being funny when I say this. I don't want to say it's one of your favorite movies of all time. It's not, is it?
Yeah.
It is one of your favorite movies of all time?
It's like one of the movies I can sit down and watch.
Well,
which is saying a lot.
We're talking of like three movies that she's actually seen.
So, wait, you're not putting it in with like Catch Me If You Can and the Titanic. Like those are favorite movies.
Wait, is it the Titanic?
Yes, it's the Titanic.
That's what you just said.
Whatever. The movie about the boat that sinks.
It's like The Notebook, Titanic, Empire Records.
So this is one of your favorite movies then?
Yeah.
Wow, this is not going to go well.
Super Troopers.
Yeah, terrible
Super
movie.
bad.
Yeah, nope. Also not very funny.
Beer Fest.
Also just kind of funny. So, well, anyways, I don't want to get off on a ton of stuff. So if you're listening to this episode, you're either a fan of this show or a fan of the movie Empire Records or a fan of both.
Or a fan of me.
So, yeah, or a fan of Michelle. Doubtful, but you can dream. Dare to dream. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, because like I say, there's some ground rules here, like you probably know the movie or whatever else, and the promotion of this movie upon release, because this is one of those movies that I didn't know much about at all. Like I saw the soundtrack around more than I saw advertising for the movie, and
How old were you when it came out?
What year did it come out?
95.
95. 20.
So I was 9. Kyle was 10.
Yeah.
I just want to put it in perspective. Like, I don't remember when it was released, and I just saw it, like, way later in life.
Well, so in doing some research for this, I found out, like, why I knew more about the soundtrack than I ever did about the movie. And there's little things, like, I'm kind of going to jump around some of my notes here, but the movie was scheduled to be in 2,200 theaters across the U.S., and it had a $10 million budget to promote it. And a week before it came out, they dropped the promotion entirely. They just didn't do the $10 million ad campaign for it, and dropped it from 2,200 theaters to 87.
Yeah,
87?
It literally shit the bed in theaters.
Yeah, well, it was in 87 theaters.
Yeah.
And you know how Star Wars is out for, 5-6 months and then they re-release it again before the Blu-ray comes out or whatever? Do you know how long Empire Records was in theaters?
1 week.
2.
Are you kidding?
2 weeks in all 87 theaters.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, and the other thing is that the movie came about because, and this is one of the things where I was telling you, I kind of figured out like why I don't like this movie that much, is the only reason the movie came about is because the Bodyguard did so well and the Bodyguard soundtrack sold a ton of copies, and then singles did really well and single soundtrack sold a bunch of copies. So Warner Brothers was like, oh, we should get us one of those music movies so we can sell soundtracks. Like they were way more concerned with selling the soundtrack.
The soundtrack sucks.
So what? And we're going to get into that too. I got some facts about the soundtrack that I looked up, and the whole thing only came about because Warner was like, somebody bring us a script about music so that we can sell.
Somebody.
Yeah. So they found this person who wrote this script that used to work at Tower Records, which is why the whole thing is like, the whole Damn the Man thing and whatever else. And then they got a director who loved music, and he shot the movie one way, which was more about the people in the store who love music. And Warner Brothers literally took the movie from him and re-edited the whole thing to edit out all of the scenes of people talking about how much they loved music and just being like, hey, you should buy this. And then let's all dance to this for 3 minutes, So like, one of the questions on here was, did you see the movie in theaters? I have to assume no one saw this movie in theaters.
No, I did not.
It made some. Did you look up the box office? It was something like 200,000.
Yeah, hold on, I have the numbers.
It's
here.
like $200,000 in 2 weeks. It made in theaters, which is
crazy. The film grossed just $293,000 or $293,879.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah.
Which for 87 theaters in 2 weeks is probably not bad.
So is this what people would consider a cult classic then?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, because it was picked up by home video. Whether or not, who knows why a bunch of people started liking it, but like you absolutely would have seen it on VHS at some point.
Oh, I can vividly remember me and my friends used to have movie nights where we would go to Family Video Blockbuster and rent a movie, and that was one of them, one of the first ones we saw, and I was enamored.
Right.
So
in
its first week, it did a little over $180,000.
Yeah, and then the second week, everybody was like, "Don't go see it."
By October, it had only grossed $16,000 more. Than the $280,000.
Well, if it was only in 87 theaters, everyone had already seen it. Like, people aren't driving in from out of town to go see one of these theaters.
Right. So, when I read a lot of those facts about, like, how it came about and whatnot, I was like, that's why I don't love this movie. Because it just doesn't appeal to me. Like, whether it's subconscious or not, like, I see it as a vehicle meant to sell things, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
Whereas, and I think the age difference comes in there too. Like if this movie had come out in 85, I probably would have been like, this is the funnest movie ever, like, because I wasn't thinking about that. But by 20, I was thinking about that already. You know what I mean?
I probably saw this when I was, 13, 14, probably when the first time I saw it. And I vividly remember when I applied at Media Play, I was like, this is going to be like Empire Records. I'm not kidding.
Well, it kind of was.
And boy, was I mistaken.
At no point did I take any of the safe deposits to the casino, but that's just because we didn't have casinos in Detroit at that time. I absolutely would have gone and put all the money on Red or whatever.
For sure.
So you saw it on home video. Do you remember, was it just like, oh, that's a music movie, I want to watch it? Do you remember why you wanted to watch it?
There was 3 of us that used to go, and we used to rotate turns, and it was somebody else had picked it, and we just watched it. We watched like Joe's apartment too.
So just like Kaleo.
Joe's apartment.
So just like Kaleo, just because you were listening to it.
Yeah.
What about you? Like, how'd you come into the movie? You're like, well, I started dating this chick in the show.
I don't know. I don't even know when I first seen it, but I put it in the same category of movies that I like. Like, it reminds me of like Ferris Bueller's Day Off or The Breakfast Club.
Sure.
That kind of movie.
Kids doing kid shit.
Yeah. Yep. And that's what made me like the movie.
The jokes are still funny.
Yeah.
And it's very quotable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I have a list of complaints with the film.
Alphabetically or chronologically or?
Well, a couple of different things.
Okay.
So, first of all.
Oh, boy.
When the movie starts.
We're starting at the beginning.
You see you see a customer pick up a copy of Parade by Prince. And Lucas is like, it sounds better on vinyl. Have you heard it on vinyl? And she's like, no. So they go over to the vinyl section and he picks up Parade, pulls Parade out of the sleeve, puts it on the turntable, and then not Parade plays when he puts the needle down.
Only you would know that.
Like, no, it's a very popular album by a very popular artist. Like, even if, like, Kiss is like the third to the last song on Parade, even if they had, like, dropped the needle and had Kiss play, I would have been like, okay, at least that song's from Parade, but not at all Prince plays over the PA when.
Good old continuity errors.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
Well, that's probably a licensing thing. They were probably like, oh, and then we'll have Prince play? And then,
do you think that the original could have had Parade?
Well, yeah, because he was on Warner. Yeah, like when they shot it? Yeah, I'm sure. And then they probably went to Prince. Prince was like, I don't have my memories of that movie. Yeah, because Warner owned it, you know, so they probably thought they were just going to go to Prince. And then Prince was like, I don't know if you guys, did you see I'm walking around with Slave on my face because I hate you? Like, there's no way I'm going to have this. So you have that. And then this other one is so nitpicky, but because I watched the movie twice this week. Did I tell you guys about this? A movie I don't even like, I watched twice for this show this week because I wanted to not pay for it if possible. So I was looking for where you could stream it for free.
That's what we did.
And that you found it on that app, Tubi, I guess, Tubi.
Yeah, I have it on DVD somewhere. I just don't know where it is.
So the version on there is 90 minutes long. About halfway through, I was like, there's stuff missing. Like, things happen in this movie that are not in this version. So I looked up the runtime, and the runtime on the movie is an hour and 47 minutes. So there's like 20 minutes missing from that version. So then I went and paid for the movie on Amazon to watch the whole thing again. And one of the things that was missing from the original is when they go to that area, it's like cropped differently. There is a giant neon sign that says vinyls with a S. Nobody on earth who sells music or even respects themselves as a music collector says vinyls. The plural of vinyl is vinyl.
Yes.
And you will get beaten up on the internet for saying otherwise. And so every time they even walked past
You're
that
just
sign,
looking for reasons to be mad now.
No, that's a reason to be mad. That's not how
That's
people...
also a sign that somebody who had no idea what they were talking about put together the movie. Yeah.
Exactly. That's a sign that some guy was like, and the vinyls will be over here. And then a whole bunch of like people who don't know what they were doing were like, yes, that's where the vinyls will go. We should have a neon sign that says this is where the vinyls are. You know, when he listens to not Prince. So those are my two biggest complaints. And then the other thing is, you even touched on it, the soundtrack for this movie.
Like, there's such good music in the movie, and then on the soundtrack, they're like, meh.
So I did some research into this.
Licensing?
And well, kind of. So Warner Brothers got all excited, and they were like, well, the singles, you know, and the kids like the Pearl Jam, you know. So they were all excited, and they were like, and then we'll just put a bunch of Pearl Jam in the movie, right? And then they got halfway through shooting before they were like, oh, we don't have any of the Pearl Jam, like on A&M or Warner or any of their, like, they didn't have any of the acts that the kids were buying at the time, which is why the Gin Blossoms ended up being the lead single off the album, because they were like, this is as grunge as we got. is the Gin Blossom. But I looked this up, and I want to make sure I get the numbers right. In the movie, there are 34 songs. 33 of them are not on the soundtrack. Because movie licensing drops is much different than selling the music. So they could license all these songs for the movie in pivotal scenes, like the AC/DC, If You Want Blood, You Got It.
That's my favorite song is because of this movie.
Yeah. That's probably another reason why I don't like this movie, is because you love that song because of this movie. They were able to license it for the movie and then not able to put it on the soundtrack. So you end up with a soundtrack with a bunch of artists that like people didn't really care too much about. And then their version of we're going to appeal to the kids is the Gin Blossoms, who, by the way, I love the Gin Blossoms, not a grunge band at all. And they were like, yeah, but if we just put flannel on people in the movie, they'll be like, oh, the Gin Blossoms are like Pearl Jam, right? And then they did it. They played like the soundtrack for a bunch of test audiences, and a bunch of kids were like, yeah, we'd buy that. And so that became the soundtrack.
It's not great. I was very disappointed by the soundtrack.
The whole Gwar thing is weird too, because I don't think that anyone that is watching that movie knows who Gwar even is.
I don't. Yeah, that was one of the things where I was like, "What is happening?" Right now?
And then he's like high 1 second, and then just not the next. He's just like back at work.
I read that's another thing that I read, that Warner had a huge problem with all the drug use in the movie. So they reshot that scene where the kid says, "It's my special recipe. It's got extra sugar."
Yeah.
He originally said pot, and Warner was like, "No, like it's not obvious what's going on there."
But the suicide and the other
that's
stuff.
another thing, and I don't want to get too serious here, but like, how to have times changed with how they handled that topic in that movie compared to now. And also, and this is disgusting, but I read that the actress who played her, Warner didn't like because she was too cute to be depressed.
I'm sorry, fucking what?
That was exactly what the Warner agent said to her. And that's why she shaved her head for real.
That's what I asked him. I was like, do you think she's really doing that? And he was like, yeah.
I learned this the other day. That's why if you watch The Craft, which was her next movie, she's wearing an obvious wig through the whole movie, and it's because she shaved her head for real for this. But yeah, Warner came back and was like, oh, well, she's entirely too cute to be a depressed person. And then, how the topic is completely fumbled throughout the movie.
Oh, yeah.
There's only the scene where she's in the listening booth and Joe's talking to her. That's like the only genuine scene where I feel like a person would be genuinely talking to another person they care about such a sensitive topic.
Yeah. See, I almost feel like the way that they did it is how maybe kids would have handled that situation back in the day. Because no one really talked about that kind of stuff back in the day, and they all just reacted to it like they were used to her behaving like that, and like it was just a thing that she did every now and then.
So I'll agree with you on that, because there was one scene where I was wildly offended, and then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I bet kids back then would have thought that way, is when the one kid says, oh, she's at the store, she's fine.
Lucas says that.
Yeah. And I thought, fuck you, you know, like, but then I thought the more I thought on it, I came to what you were, I was like, well, I bet back then kids would have thought that way.
Yeah, being depressed and that kind of stuff.
Nobody talked about it.
It wasn't an accepted thing to be talked about back in the day. So I think that they fumble around it as if a couple of kids working at a record store would fumble around it back in the day.
Nothing, guys.
That was an opportune time for crickets.
Well, I took what Lucas said differently than you did.
Okay, go on.
When he said she's in the store, I took it to be like, she's in the store, so like we can keep an eye on her. Like she's gonna be okay for now. Like you don't have to pin her down to the floor. Like let's just see how this goes. And you took it, and so I was thinking
the movie would need two more characters then, me and you, because there would have been a thing where I cocked back to punch Lucas for saying that, and you would have had to be like, wait, he didn't mean it that way.
Now that you say that, I took that the same way you did, is that they could keep an eye on her because
like
she was
at work. Like you don't have to like yell at her. Like let's just see how this goes. And
it's good I watched it twice, because it was the second time where I was like, okay, maybe he didn't mean it that way.
So anyways, with the crickets were my brain working.
Right.
That was the squeaky wheels, not the crickets.
Right.
Well, I was thinking I can't do two things at once, man.
I'm well aware. So I have one more complaint with the movie.
Okay.
And then
this is the last one?
And then I have a fact to share, which is weird. And my complaint comes in the form of a question. What is with Ethan Embry in this movie? What
do you mean?
What is with that kid?
He's fine.
Dad, if I was a character in this movie, he would have been in the movie for the first 5 minutes, and then every time there would have been a running joke in the rest of the movie where he was knocked out on the couch. Like I would have just hit that kid and had him be knocked out cold. Why? And then him and Warren would have been sitting on the couch.
His name isn't fucking Warren.
For the whole rest of the movie. Which, by the way, I did laugh every time they called him Warren.
Yeah,
for the rest of the movie. I was like, that's a funny inside joke. So there's one thing I want to share before we get on to like, your favorite parts of the movie and that type of stuff. Because I told Michelle last week, I was like, I'm not sure how to do this episode without us just sitting here being like, do you remember when you said this line? So, but we will have a section for that because I think that's fun. Okay, so first things first, this character Burko was originally supposed to be played by Billy Joe Armstrong, which I didn't know.
He's only in the movie for like.
There's a reason why he's only in the movie. He got signed. He wanted to do the movie because he thought it was about selling music. And then as it progressed and he found that it was more about selling music, not love of music, he had his agent write his part out a whole bunch. So he was in the movie way less than he meant to be. So this person's name is Cody Shivers that ended up playing him. Okay, here we go.
I thought it was Coyote.
I'm so sorry. It is Coyote. Coyote Shivers.
Because I was like, I read it around the screen and I thought maybe I read it wrong.
Sorry. So Coyote Shivers lied to get this part and said that he was 19 years old, but he was actually 29 at the time. It's going to get way worse than this. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
At the time, he was married to Liv Tyler's mom. So Coyote Shivers, Burko in the film, is Liv Tyler's stepdad in real life.
What?
It's just a little weird.
How would you like to be on the set and Liv Tyler delivers this line terribly and he's like, go to your room?
We looked up how old Liv Tyler was now, but I don't know.
She doesn't age, man. It's
I know,
weird.
but she
looks the same.
I don't know.
She also shows zero emotion for a person
for
with
sure.
supposed speed problem. I like when Renee Zellweger loses her mind about her on the speed, and I'm like, no, it's like
I'm so excited.
It's Rex Manning Day. She's like, oh, whoa, watch out, Liv's on the speed.
Tobey Maguire was originally cast to be in that movie as well.
Yeah.
But he dropped out
He's in it. No, he's in
reason.
deleted scenes.
Oh, is he?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I could tell you, I could write a book about the deleted scenes from this movie now. So for me, there was just a bunch of stuff that I learned about it that I was like, okay, I'm getting a firm idea as to why I was never drawn to this movie.
You're actively ruining it for everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's the plan. I was talking to a friend earlier today, by the way, and I said, oh boy, today's episode is going to be an interesting one because we're talking about Empire Records, and Michelle loves that movie and I do not. And the person texted back, I side with Team Michelle on this, and I was like, that's never a good stance to take.
It's a great movie.
So
even though you've ruined it.
I did not ruin it. I love the Gin Blossoms, and I don't even like the song that's in it from them. You know what I mean? It's just, the movie's just there for me. And the soundtrack itself, when I looked into the soundtrack, what's funny, because I've never owned the soundtrack, when I looked into the soundtrack, I was like, well, at least the AC/DC song's on there, isn't it?
Nope.
And nope.
Nope.
What?
So I don't think I'd ever listened to the soundtrack either. I just, the songs I like from the movie, I probably had downloaded from Napster. I made my own soundtrack. I didn't actually... and then this week before I watched it, I was like, I'll put this on at work. And I was like, what is happening?
Then, that's when you sent me the screenshot. Yeah. There's a Better Than Ezra song that's not on.
Which I don't even think, wasn't even in the movie, so, right?
Right.
So take it out.
Speaking of which, Norm Macdonald, who used to rule Weekend Update at SNL, one of my all-time favorite Norm Macdonald jokes on Weekend Update is, at the top of the alternative charts this week was the single Good by Better Than Ezra. In the number 2 spot, Ezra. every time I hear that song or the name of the band, I think of Norm Macdonald doing that joke. So, for you, Kyle, there's no way you rate this movie an A.
No, see, so I am normally super critical about movies because of going to film school and whatnot, but sometimes I just detach. I just detach myself sometimes and try to enjoy a movie. I enjoy it for what it is. There's never going to be the acting by itself is shitty, but it's just a funny, good-hearted.
I think we've talked about this before when blockbusters come out. Okay, with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Every time a Star Wars movie comes out, people lose their mind and they get all critical. And I think I've told you this before. My contract with Star Wars is I want to see laser fights. And I want to see the good guys lose for 80% of the movie, and then come back, and then if you could throw in another laser fight while they're winning, and then I would like to see the good guys win. That's all I want from Star Wars.
And they are experts at delivering that.
But with this, I think the reason I'm so overcritical is the music connection.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I mean? This is the thing where if you were this is just a movie about some kids in high school, I would be like, okay, whatever. But the vinyls thing, the parade thing, that it's just because of the music.
See, and I'm able to detach from. I look at it very much the same way as like I said, Ferris Bueller's Day Off or The Breakfast Club, where it's just kids hanging out and they all have to work this job.
I feel like if I did a fourth viewing, I could try it that way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But you might be so wrapped up in the whole music aspect of it that you might not be able to enjoy it that way.
The parade thing was so offensive because I literally was like, how do I not remember Prince playing in this movie? And then when he dropped the needle, I was like, that's not even Prince. I was so mad. So it's just, would you run to put it on, or if it was on, you'd leave it on?
Yeah, if I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it, but it's if I was scrolling through channels or something, or a movie channel or something, and it was on, I would absolutely watch it.
This is the second time we've watched it.
Yeah.
So,
and I can count on one hand how many movies we watched together. So
solid.
Accurate.
As far as I understand it, you like to do a lot of. You watch the film TikTok.
I do.
A lot. The major motion picture.
I can watch TikTok for 3 hours, but a 3-hour movie, nope.
Okay, let me ask you this. So you won't go to the theater for a 2-hour movie, which is not me throwing stones. I'm not going to the theater for a 2-hour movie either. Would you go to a movie and watch 2 hours of TikTok?
If I could do the swiping, yes.
If they have it sideways in 16:9, everybody in the theater is looking at it sideways. So what are some of your favorite parts in the movie? What's some of the stuff?
I like the Guar part because
even though it makes no sense,
it makes no sense. But and that actually is footage from a Guar concert, so it just. it makes no sense in the movie, but like it's just funny that he was like hallucinating and then at the Guar show and shit.
The only thing I can think, and I have no fact to back this up, is that might be a loose reference to Fast Times at Ridgemont High because Spicoli is like has a hallucination or whatever where he's on a surf competition on TV. That's like the only thing I can think.
I didn't think about that.
You want to watch a good movie about high school kids and music? Watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah,
that's a fantastic film.
I watched my movie for this year, this week. So.
Darn it, we knocked it out in April. January 1st next year, I'm going to be like, all right, we're coming back for season 3 in 2 weeks, and in the meantime, season 5 by that time. In the meantime, Michelle's going to watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
You're going to waste it on that?
Yes.
The Crow? You're not even going to try and get The Crow in there?
I've been trying to get you to watch The Crow for 17 or 18 years.
I know.
It's not happening. Fetch is not happening.
It's like so close.
Nope. So anyways, what else did you enjoy about it?
I like the back and forth with all the characters. It's very, very realistic to how a workplace is, where certain people hate each other or can't stand each other.
I don't know why I can't remember their characters' names right now, but I feel like the most real was Renee Zellweger and Liv Tyler.
Yeah.
I've worked with a lot of girls in retail, and
why do you keep buying me?
A lot of that cattiness goes down.
When Renee Zellweger and the chick that shaved her head are going back and forth at the cash register, it's just...
She says, the shorter your skirt gets, the smarter you are, or something like that.
So that whole exchange, and then anything involving Rex Manning, because he's such a douchebag that it's so funny.
So I read, too, that there were more scenes with him where they made him more of a real person, like he knows that he sucks now, and like he kind of explained to the guys, like, I used to be like you, like I used to live and die by music, and like now I'm just part of the system, and they cut all of that out too.
And I can't not laugh every time they show scenes from the music video of his, and it's just so funny.
It makes great gifs as well.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, there's that. And then the other thing with the characters and the realness of it, like we discussed the mental illness in the one character, I feel like they just didn't know how to put it in there right, because some of it is done well. Like I said, the scene between her and Joe where she's in the listing booth, he genuinely seems like a person that cares.
And I've never worked at a record store or a music store in general, but like that work environment, the dynamic between the characters, it was very much like when I worked at this small independent grocery store. And we had all these kind of people that worked there, and it was these kinds of exchanges and stuff happened all the time. So I could kind of like relate, like, that is kind of like how it is working like at a job like that.
Yeah, well, and the person that wrote the script worked at Tower.
Right.
I would say that the characters in the movie were very much like working at Media Play, but the actual job was not. Like, you don't just get to like fuck around. Everyone leaves the store and has a funeral.
That's another one on my list of complaints. Why are there 10 people on staff on a Friday morning?
Because it's Rex Manning Day, duh.
Yeah, for the 14 people that were in line.
Since you mentioned Rex Manning Day, do you know that that's supposed to represent the death of Kurt Cobain?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because the movie happens on April 8th, 1994.
Yes.
Another comment I want to make on the film, to answer the question, if Axl Rose was driving down the road and saw Rex Manning, he would not stop to help Rex Manning. I can say for certain? At the time that the movie was filmed, that Axl, no. The current Axl would. The current Axl would absolutely stop and help Rex Manning. I mean, the current Axl like goes and helps with like the fires in California and stuff. Just no one ever hears about it. But
is he on time?
That Axl would have stopped and pissed on Rex Manning and then got back in the car. I love when Ethan Embry's like, "Does Axl have a jack?"
Yeah.
And no, I don't believe he would have at the time. So, what's your favorite parts, Michelle? Why do you love this movie so much? If you're like, you guys said them all.
You guys said them all.
Yeah.
I like the whole thing. I like the quotability of it. I just feel like it's very nostalgic for me. I do think it's kind of reminiscent of Media Play a little bit. Just brings me back.
You long for the days of all of us standing around Media Play. When we never had 10 people staffed on a Friday morning.
When we never had 10 people staffed at all.
Yeah. That's true.
I very much with Kyle, like it is what it is for me. Like, I'm not looking for a deeper meaning. I'm not like overanalyzing it. I don't.
It's just a feel-good, funny movie.
Yeah.
And the other music film, which we totally disagree on, is High Fidelity, which for me is like
garbage.
Left and all over left and right and all over the field is a ton of deeper meaning and stuff, like almost every conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, when they drop the needle on songs in that movie, the actual song
it's
plays.
the actual song.
Yeah, it's crazy. And nowhere does it say vinyls.
I guess it's probably been a hot minute since I've seen High Fidelity, but I remember not
you'll be
liking
watching it again eventually for this program that you're on right now.
And I wish they would have put more of the other parts of Rex Manning in there, because I like how they make him seem like a total douche, but like adding more depth to his character would have totally changed how the movie was.
Right. Well, the original cut of it apparently was close to 3 hours, and Warner was like, "You need to take out all the stuff that isn't kids dancing, and lighthearted stuff," and the director refused, and so Warner just edited it on their own. And we're like, here's exactly what we wanted, which is a commercial for the soundtrack. Yeah. So speaking of the soundtrack, I would say, have you never bought the soundtrack? Michelle? No. Have you ever bought it? See, I never did either. But like at the time, though, I didn't. Like I said, I don't hate the Gin Blossoms at all. But that would have been the reason I would have bought it, was that song. Yeah. And I already had it. So I didn't have any reason to buy the soundtrack. Plus, I probably was scared I'd end up with an AC/DC song.
Right. Because you couldn't see the track listing before you bought it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was all hidden. But I don't think that when I fell in love with this movie, I wasn't so much into the music aspect of it. I was just like, this is funny, and I get to quote it, and I can
really
watch
liked
it.
Ethan Embry's character.
I do love Ethan Embry's character. I don't. Lucas was actually my favorite. I think he's my favorite character.
Lucas is like, that guy works everywhere.
Yeah.
You know. So, and it's a little cliche, but that guy works everywhere.
Yeah.
So, plus, I totally applaud trying to flip it at the casino. So
that's such a realistic. I was telling her, like, such a realistic thing where he like doubles his money on the first roll, and then he's like, "Oh, we're gonna kill this," and he just loses everything.
I forget what the guy says. Lucas says something, and the dealer's like, "And you used to have $9,000." But mark my words, if there were casinos downtown, there would have been a story we're telling now.
When they're looking for a closer again, and then he offers to close a second time, I about died at that part. It was really funny.
I think AJ's my least favorite character. He's just annoying.
He's just there.
He's just like pining over Liv Tyler, and it's just annoying.
Boy, that is annoying. Huh?
Yeah, like drawing in your book, like, fuck off. Although he does glue all the quarters to the floor, so.
You know that you're with an artist, right? Yeah. Like, you were just like, artist.
I think that
I want to see that in a movie.
I think that I used to envision that would be how it would be to work at a music store.
Yeah.
Because just how the environment is there. How like they're all dancing around and like.
We never danced at Media Play.
Yeah. No.
And never working in a music store. I was like, oh man, that'd be awesome. And then to grow up and find out that's never happened in a music store I've been in.
I feel like I had a cocktail or two and probably had a dance or two.
Yeah.
I know for sure you didn't.
No, but we definitely had all the different characters, like all those people that for sure worked there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So I guess my last question on this is, and this would be more of the film critic in you, Kyle. Like, if someone had never seen this movie, regardless if they love music or not, is this worth sitting down and watching?
I would say that if there has to be the precursors for me would be like The Breakfast Club and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So that's why I like this movie, because it's very similar to those. Right. I think that someone could enjoy it just not seeing anything else regarding a feel-good kid having fun movie.
Yeah, just watch it.
Yeah, it's just I think that someone would enjoy it if they watched it.
Right on. And Michelle, your recommendation on?
Yeah, but you have to go in not like Russ. You can just go in and expect nothing and be super surprised at how great the movie is. I will. It's
great. How great the movie is, she said.
So, like, it's not Step Brothers. Like, Step Brothers I could watch every day for the rest of my life, and like 40-Year-Old Virgin and all those. But like,
it's not supposed to be, though.
I know. It's just a. It's a great movie. It's one of the ones that I can still continue to watch.
Step Brothers I also don't like. I've only seen it once. I've only seen it once.
I think this is it. This is the last episode of the podcast, because Russ and I are no longer friends.
Right.
Empire Records as a movie exists in a space where it should exist, where it is just a funny, feel-good movie with one-liners and not too deep of character dynamics, and overall, like, fun experience.
The funniest thing for me in the whole deal is the whole thing came about. Literally, the whole thing came about because Warner was like, we got to get us one of those things to sell soundtracks, and then totally failed on the soundtrack. Yeah, so that's just ridiculous. So those are our
With that
overall
being said,
thoughts.
Damn the Man.
Yeah. Having
Save the Empire.
which I think is the name of this episode, if I was to guess.
Yes.
So speaking of Michelle and I not being friends anymore, next week we're going to go back to
I'm going to make some frenemies.
Yep. You know what's funny is, well, I should have got ahead of myself. We're going to go back to our album review series, and if you're following that, then you know we're back to Michelle and her choice of album. And if you watch our social media, people are always like, "Oh man, I got to go listen to that album again before I listen to your review of it." And this week, people are going to be like, "I am not going to listen to that album."
Well, last time everyone was like, "I thought she was going to pick something like emo or some punk rock," and I was trying to pick something just to ease us in, and it's fucking on, man. Like it is on.
I feel like our listener base is about to get a stern lesson in be careful what you wish for.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't, there's so many good albums that I can't even narrow it down in my head right now. Like I'm very
good is the word you're using. Well,
excellent, superb.
Oh my, with a hard B.
Superb.
Oh jeez. So we don't know what it's going to be next, but Michelle is going to tell Kyle and I over the next day or so, which I assume will lead to me swearing a lot.
I envision that it's going to be someone who frequently toured Warped Tour.
Oh, fortunately. Please stop giving her ideas. So yeah, that's to look forward to. Also, please make sure to leave us a voicemail or a text and get us on social media, Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and everything, because Kyle and I enjoy the feedback because it mostly insults Michelle. So we greatly appreciate it. Without music, life would be a mistake. Bye.
The Infectious Groove podcast is hosted by Russ Robinson, Kyle Wimple, and Michelle Koselecki. Produced and edited by Russ Robinson. Intro and outro music composed by Chris Kimmel. Opening credits read by Stacey Robinson. Recorded with a Rode Podcaster Pro and Rode Pod mics.